week 2 of Advent. I'll do a slight confession first of all. I do have my Maker's Red Panda kit has just appeared, but I made the executive decision not to do that because I realized next Sunday I'll probably be traveling, and it's going to be a real I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to get live, so I want to make sure that I can do my advent calendar. So yeah, I want to be able to take the time to do the Red Panda properly, so we'll do that in the new year. Anyway, for those of you who are new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. We are doing the bags you can see left behind me, and the big pile I've got here are from the makers, friends of mine. Now that I can say that, now I've met them. From the makers, a needle felting company, they do advent goodie bags. I'm not sponsored by them, but they did give me this kit. They were kind enough to give me this advent calendar. So we're going through these and making little projects of what we're inspired to make. And last week we did the first 5 bags. Oh, voice not good today. Last week we did the first 5 bags, and what we made, I didn't add anything else to this guy. I just felted him once we were off air. But this is the little cat we made out of things that we found in the bags. I really want to go ahead and finish off and make an entire whole cat that can be like our mascot. But this is all of the blue sparkle that I've got left. So in the new year, I'll get me some more of this stuff, and we will make the whole body for this guy because I think he is totally adorable. So we've got some bags to go through. We've got some ideas to get. I will just say hello to everyone in the chat, and then we'll go down and we'll open the bags. I'm excited. So who do we have in the house? Alicia's in the house representing the makers. Serena, hello there. Erica, hello. Diana, Lorna. Chat jumps, obviously, when I'm looking at this. Diana, Erica, Bridget, hello there. Oh yeah, the Red Panda subscription box will be available until the end of the month only. It looks like an awesome project. I just want to give it time. This time of the year is crazy. Heather, hello there. Okay, right. I think I said hello to everybody. So thank you all for joining me. Let's split screen. You can see my little pile of stuff. So if this is your first time here, we're going to go through the bags, see what's in each of them, and then see if we get inspired. We've also got what did we got some silk clay and some camel in the bags last time. I have another felting needle and a felting mat. These are, well, I've used the needle and the mat, but we didn't use the silk clay or the camel. Was camel? Alpaca. Camel coloured, yeah, it was alpaca. Camel coloured alpaca. So we've got these to use at some point as well. But let's go straight into baggie number 6. Alicia's saying, yeah, if you're wanting to make these, Alicia for the makers also does live Zoom meetings where you can also all work together. So they've done their first Red Panda Zoom and are loving this make. It looks really cool. Interesting. I just want to make sure that I use it properly. Now, this is interesting. A heart stencil. You could spread the love by embellishing a heart onto a bag, sweater, or blanket. Place the stencil onto the chosen fabric and felt the shape. That is cute. Well, there's something we could use the rest of that blue with, but we have time to think of other ideas. Yeah, that's cool. Not sure what that's made of. It seems like wool, but really dense. It doesn't seem too plasticky, but will I break a needle on it? Yeah, you can't really felt into it, so it'll work. I've used some stencils in the past. It's a kind of cool way to get a nice shape. That's interesting. So for the 7th, ooh. Oh, I've used we all know I've used this stuff. No, they're holding my day number 25 advent thingy, but I've made dragons and used Now, how well does that... Just going... Doo, doo, doo. Would they contrast enough, or should I just do it in white? But there's an idea. But this, I can tell before looking, this is pre-felt. This is wool. Well, let's read what the makers say. Purple pre-felt. Yes, pre-felt is so useful. You can either felt straight onto it for a picture and use for a base to make other decorations. It's really cool as well for clothing, because it's, I don't know if you can see, it's pre-felt. It's not fully felted, so you can sort of shape it and stretch it, and then when you felt it, it becomes felted. But that's gorgeous. Yes, and you can use it for wet felting. You can do things like, cut it into shapes and use it as a plique, patchwork, all sorts of things with it. What day are we on now? So yeah, those two certainly seem to go together to me. We'll see. Number 8. I'm excited and nervous. Oh! Yay, Christmassy pipe cleaners. Oh, Diane, am I making stuff up? Did the silk clay not come in? No, the silk clay was just... We didn't get silk clay in the bags. I'm an idiot. Right, okay, so... I can make one project right away. If I can find my scissors, there they are. Well, no, I won't even cut it, but for your decorations, your little houses or whatever else, just cut it there. You have a candy cane. That was such a difficult project. Love these. Gnome, Tomte, or Elf would just love a pair of stripy trousers. Absolutely. Elf on the Shelf type critter, although Elf on the Shelf is trademarked. Why not make some candy cane embellishments? That is cool. Ooh, now what else could we do with this? I don't know. Well, we'll see what other ideas we get. I've never used a stencil with a pipe cleaner before, but it would. I think it would look a really nice sort of... There we go. We've made a heart. What are we on? We're on day 9. Oh, Carol's in the house. Hello there. Diane, I've been tidying up this room a little bit. So obviously I found that and thought it was from the bag and put it to the side, but I'm an idiot. Oh, now we know how much I love this stuff. This is red rainbow drops, and you can just about see, we had these last year as well, I love them, that it's wool bats, but it's got rainbow drops in them. You can probably see better on that camera. It's got little balls and bits of color, which make such cute little embellishments. Ooh, now obviously that screams heart to me. I don't think it goes on the... Not loving it on the purple, but that needs to be done. What are we on? Number 10. Off you go. And guys, if you're seeing it, give us a yell in chat if you can think of anything that you think I should be making, or you would make, or what you've already made. Oh, this feels metallic. Oh, it's excellent. It's a little keychain. Well, I've got a great idea then for a very quick project. Yes. I know what I'm going to do, unless something else. But a keyring chain, great. Unless something else pops to mind, I've got an idea. But keep ideas coming, just in case mine is... Oh, Alicia, the stencil's not made of wool. It's actually man-made fibre. Oh, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like a really compacted sort of felting mat type thing. But yeah, it's interesting, cool stuff. Whatever. Oh, I wonder where this came from. The felt is firm, stab straight into the shape. Yeah. Okay, so we can embellish the heart as well. That's cool. You can also it doesn't say this, but you can sort of use these kind of things as a stencil as well, because if I put this on here and felted a straight line around it without hitting the heart, and then I can remove it and there would be a heart felted into the thing. But yeah, that's cool. Okay, so we've got a heart to play around with. Cool. Oh, too many ideas. And the last one, I think I know what I'm making, but we've got more wool. Oh, yeah, crikey, yellow, bright yellow tops. It's Corridale tops. I've used Corridale before. It's nice. They have a long staple length. If you don't know what that is, that's just the length of the fibre. So a long staple length means you can do long hair and all sorts of things. Each individual hair is nice and long, so it holds together. I find them easier to felt with as well. Angel or fairy hair, and you can curl them. Goldilocks in a pantomime when you use these tops with them. That's nice, giving us advice on what needle to use and everything, which I will, of course, ignore. Right. So I have two ideas then for kind of things. Yeah. Just thinking where to start. Yeah, well, the first thing, I think, well, this was my, that was my crown needle. Is that fine enough? That is not. Do I have a fine enough needle up here to felt with? I think, are these fine? Couldn't possibly manage this. Really need a fine needle for this. But yes, I just want to we'll just do a little quick something, and then you'll see what I'm going to make out of what my actual idea is. But I want to use other things. So yeah, with the pre-felt, you can do some really cool applique type things. Now, will this work? I've never felted onto this kind of stuff, but they did say to felt with it. I don't want to break a needle. No. Okay, no, not desperate to use that. But the other thing is you can. Should we do something? This is going to be disgusting. Let's do this. The colours are terrible. Let's go with this, just so I can show you how you can use these kind of things as a stencil in their own right. So if I felt just around here, just in a line, but don't felt into that, don't felt away from it, just tracing it. I'm tracing, that's the thing. Then what's going to happen is everywhere I stab the needle down, those fibres will stick into the purple. And it should stick. Just doing this super quickly because this is not my idea. And I need to do this a bit more. I'm trying to make sure and really get the point here done. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Oh, it's weird. It's kind of sticking to the surface of that. But then you should be able to fold in. And what you've felted, can we just see here how the fibres are holding into the purple and no more? So I can gently fold them in. And if you have no artistic skills at all, although I hope most of us can draw a basic heart, but if you had no skills at drawing at all, it is a super quick way to make something. But my plan, seeing as we got this and this, and I've not used a stencil forever. Let's do this. So I wish I had a bigger felting mat with me. because this mat is just starting to curve away. So I just want to really overfill this little guy. And if you haven't guessed, we're going to make a heart-shaped keychain. Alicia, the yellow tops are the same as we used on the Christmas fairy last month. It does look perfect for pantomime. Oh, brilliant. I'm just thinking with curls. I mean, definitely there's so much you can do. I was going to say Little Orphan Annie, but she was the red-headed child, wasn't she? Or was she? Am I making it up? But yes, so definitely little yellow ringlets would be kind of awesome. In fact, curls on anything you can make. You know, any tops you can curl pretty much, and it just looks really cool. Serena's also making a heart-shaped key ring, the same as this. Diana, stencil material reminds me of a very thick pelmet violin. It's good for stencil. I'm gonna have to find a much finer needle. Although this, I think it's a 38, but it just wasn't going into it. So Alicia had said a 40, perhaps even a 42. What I'm hoping to do with this heart stencil, usually I don't fill them as full as this if I'm using a stencil, and I felt them into a sort of flat shape, but I'm trying to puff this up a bit and make it a little more three-dimensional a little bit. I am going to have to remember and lift it off the felting mat at some point very soon, and I hope it's holding together. So I'm doing a little bit of not felting all the way through to the felting mat, just so it decides to hold its shape a bit without getting too attached to the mat. And what we're probably going to find, if you do this like as a stencil onto a flat bit of fabric, then your item will wind up being nice and flat and the size of the stencil. But if I just do this to get a shape for a 3D shape, it's probably going to end up shrinking a little bit. It's definitely going to end up shrinking a little bit. So my final heart might end up being smaller than the stencil. That needs a little bit more padding in here. But yes, so I'm also being aware that it is possible to felt into the stencil now, so I'm trying not to hit the stencil with the needle. Let's just try and remove this. And yes, everybody, if you have your advent calendar bags and you're making things for them, don't forget to post in the makers group, because I think it's a £25 voucher you can win for stuff. I'm not going to have as many projects as last year, but we might do some pretty shots for my cat, because the camera, hang on, will this work? I have a little light here for the little sparkles. It almost looks like fur, if you can see that. Sorry for what that's doing to the other camera, but you just have little flecks of different color the way it works. It is so pretty. It is literally just like, because the little colored flecks don't felt, whoops, they sort of, it's almost like you've got a loop and then it's stuck down with the felted fleece in a loop, so it looks like really sort of shiny fur. It's very cool. Alicia, I know I have the bigger eco mat, I just don't remember where I put it just now. When I said I'm tidy enough, it's a slow process. But yes, bigger eco mats are available. This is just the one that happens to be beside here. Lorna also made a keychain with the heart shape. I could do a cat's head keychain. I could just attach it to the cat. That would be very pretty too. But the heart, the red wool and the keychain and the heart just all said, yeah, that needs to come together and become a thing. Although, with all the little rainbow drops, I couldn't remember what it was called. With all the little rainbow drops, this would make a very fantastic Santa's jacket, wouldn't it? He would be very, very special with these little sparkles on it. I had planned. It was a Mars landing we had this year, wasn't it? I had planned to make a sort of galaxy Martian 2D painting type thing using the blues and purples of this, and I never got round to it. It's a thought for the future still. I think that would be so gorgeous though, using this and then planets. And yeah, I do fancy doing some more 2D pictures, definitely. I have an idea, right? Everyone comments on my back wall here, which is really, really cool, and I did nothing to it. But I would love the wall in front of me. I currently just have a sheet hung in front of it because that stops reflected bouncy noises to sort of soundproof it a bit better. But I had thought I could do lots and lots of 2D paintings and fix them all together to make a really cool backdrop. So that is a plan. I was thinking, because I really love needle felting my Wednesday Addams. I think she looked amazing. So like I could do like women in horror and just have a whole backdrop of women in horror as a sort of soundproofing for my back wall. That is one idea I'm having. I was gonna say I need more time in the day. That sounds cool, but in reality, I need to make better use. And I need to not procrastinate, not to find new random websites where I can play Spider Solitaire for an hour. It's like, why? There is so much more fun stuff I could be doing. This bobbly stuff really does felt quite quickly. I mean, this is not firm enough. This is nowhere good enough for a keychain yet, but it's felting really nicely. Now I wonder, I've never done this before. It might not work, but I wonder, can we make this heart 3D all the way through? Probably not, but let's give it a go. Alicia, you can post any make even from last week's advent into the contest so long as you don't post the same make twice unless you add to it. Yeah, that totally makes sense, Alicia. Yes, it was the plan. If I'd thought ahead and bought more blue and then I could have made the full cat, we could have been adding things to him, because a red collar on him would be fantastic. So I'll have to save some red behind. But that's a project for next year. Basically, I'll add it to the growing list of millions of projects for next year. Okay, for anyone watching, stencils are not really designed to be used to make 3D things. It's just what I'm in the mood for. They're much better to make like flat, compacted objects. I've used years ago, I used a stencil of like a wee Scotty dog and putting in like lots of purples and reds and blues and everything. It gave a real kind of Harris Tweed vibe. It was really gorgeous. Once you felt it down to real dense packed felting, it really does start to look like tweed almost if you pick the right colors. So it's a cool thing you can do. Yeah, it does seem like we are making a 3D slightly poofy heart out of the stencil. Oh, Alicia, the surprise box Zoom was on Saturday, and after much play around and making a heart ornament using the surprise kit and the advent calendar, you came up with the best idea. Come on then, tell all. I'm thinking, well, I'd said for the cat's head, The cat that will be a cat next year if I suddenly find gazillions of extra time. But as well as this, I should make a tiny heart for her collar rather than a collar. I think that would be very cute. So we'll do that. Alicia, using the surprise box contents, I'm going to make a constellation 2D wall picture. I think that's perfect. I mean, there's so much goodness here. Absolutely. That is really, because it's what I've wanted to do forever. That is what I should have done with that purple. That would have been very gorgeous. Yeah. But anyway, this is felted together really well. That looks pretty gorgeous. But the more you felt it, the smoother it becomes, and it starts to feel, like I say, like a kind of, like, you know, a wool tweed, a proper wool fabric. I know it's felt. It feels like felt, but I don't know. There's just something about the way you can mix all the colours together. I'm just adding little pinches of wool where it starts to look a bit skinny and patchy. And of course, I'm off the felting mat already. That didn't last long, did it? I'm so tempted to pop this out of the mould now, now that I've got this far. But it's definitely really helped to make a shape fairly quickly. The hearts are fairly easy. They are more difficult to get something even in 2D. But let's pop him out. That's not bad, actually. That's really not bad. The top that I was working on the most, obviously, is best felted. It's good to, there's a million different ways to add stuff to felted items, but I like to do it when they're still sort of kind of soft, just making a little tiny snip. Going to put the jump ring at the end. Just put it like 3/4. It's really hard to show that. 3/4 of the way through, and then just get felting. It'll probably fall out a couple of times before I've got it in. Alicia, you can cheat and see what's going on in the surprise box by joining the surprise box group on Facebook. But that's cheating. You just said it was cheating. But yeah, that sounds cool too. I just want a tiny bit more fleece in here to hold this jump ring in. If you're going to use felted things for like key rings or stuff like that, really make sure they're well felted. So this will not be well enough felted to use as a keychain, but you know, if they're going to have a bit of a life, then spend a bit of time making sure they're densely felted. At the minute in time, this is so soft that it would distort. Where did I put the 3? There it is. It would distort quite easily and quite quickly. They need to be rock hard felted. Right, one thing I always like doing with hearts, now we're out of here, we're going to go off piste. I like to make the bottom not symmetrical, so I'm just going to pinch it round a little bit. So I'm holding it between my fingers and felting between my fingers very carefully. And where you've kind of squidged it, it does hold a bit, and you just sculpt it out with your needle. I don't know if you can hear that. People tell me the microphone manages to hide a lot of it, but my radiator is making the most vile noises, like he had a bad curry last night. Alicia, Steffi's not big on surprises, so she started the surprise spoiler group. Well, I know some surprises are fun sometimes, but some people like to know what they're getting before they get it. I like the advent calendar surprises, but it's not like something I would want all the time. I like to know what's coming a lot of the time as well. Um, I like the idea of surprises more than I like surprises. Right. Before I forget, is this hold? Actually holding. I probably should have put that in just. Do you know what? It's needle felting. Don't say I probably should have done. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's just do it. So, if you make any mistakes with needle felting, have a go with a pair of scissors and just go, no, I want my keychain in here. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Carol, depends on the surprise. Very true. Yes, so a surprise. I was going to say a surprise cruise, but the past couple of years, I think you can keep your cruises. That doesn't appeal at all. But yes, a surprise holiday to somewhere you've always wanted or something. That sounds awesome. And there are other surprises, not so much. All right, so felting over where I cut and released. Yes, I'm happier with how that hangs now. Oh, Lorna, you like surprises but don't like to get disappointed by them. So people should check in with you first to make sure that the surprise is a good surprise, but without spoiling the surprise. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I don't know if they'd stay, but I think I want even more bobbles in this bobbly felt. It's cool. It's really cool, but I want more. I want more bobbles in here. It's very cute though, and like I say, on something like a Santa's cloak, it would just make him look, an extra bit of specialness. And it is fun. It's better than just a bit of red, and it's going to look awesome for galaxy type pictures. I definitely have some of the purple lying about. Oh, Alicia's bullying me to use the 3-needle tool. Shush. I put the same needles into this as I do with my single needle, so it does felt 3 times faster, but if I'm going to hit my fingers, then I stab myself 3 times. So it is good, but time and a place. I really like the 3-needle tool just to get some stuff done quickly to start with, but a single needle, I also need to make sure I've got control to get finer detail and stuff. Alicia's like, I agree, more colour the better. Yeah. This is lovely and subtle, but I'm not known for subtle. Let's be honest here. But yeah, I do love it, and it's definitely good for this kind of a project. Serena, I find I felt quicker with a single needle. Yeah, it's all different things. I'll have to. I did an experiment many years ago, maybe about 2017. I got a whole shush computer. I got a whole load of different felting needles, and I gave myself, I think it was 5 minutes, but I gave myself the same amount of time and the same amount of wool, and I felted a load of balls, a load of shapes, a load of balls, and then I just compared them all, and I thought felting from nothing, just from fluff to felt the ball. Was it a 34 or a 36? I think it was a 34. I thought the 34, which is the bigger, more stabby needle, I would felt the fastest. I would get a more dense ball, but possibly be rougher, less under control. And I thought, the finer the needle you get, it goes up the number, but that goes smaller, finer. So like a 42 is super fine. I thought as you went up the number, they would just get less and less felted. But I was amazed that the 34 and the 36, I didn't get them as far felted even, because just the amount of resistance, I was felting so much slower, and I didn't even realize that. So that's why I kind of stick with a 38 needle, because I found the bowl that I made, I felted the most, and it was the smoothest out of all the needles. So it's like a good combination. So it's definitely something to experiment. Like for all of you, with whatever it is, the wools that you use, just try that experiment on 3 or 4 different needles. You might surprise yourself, because people had told me forever, oh, you need to start with a real stab, the coarse needle. You need to start with that and then work your way through them all. And I had always just been felting with one needle. And then when I did that experiment, I was like, no, I'm right. For me, for the fibers that I use, this one needle does the trick. I rarely need to go into a finer needle for details, and I rarely need to go for a more stabby needle. I mean, as you can see, that's like been half an hour, and we've got a fairly well felted heart here. Of course, I can go. Probably could felt this for another couple of hours. Actually, it would still just keep on. Let's see how much smaller it's got. Not loads, but you can definitely see that there's all that space now. That's how much smaller things get. But we did use the stencil. Serena, yeah, you're quicker with a single needle. That was the conversation that got me started on that tangent. Bridget mostly felts with a single needle, and wow, Alicia remembers that video. Oh, Alicia, you were in watching one of my OG original videos. Yeah, it feels like so long ago. Well, it's not. I think it was about 2015 or something, or even further back. I had a go at making a couple of felting videos, and they're super embarrassing. They're actually on this channel. You want to see if you can go back to some of the oldest ones. You'll see some dog ones, and then there's a couple of needle felting videos, and they're so bad. I'm not saying that I'm great now, but they are so bad. But everyone really seemed to like them, so I was like, yay, I totally want to do this. I want to make more videos. And my computer stopped editing things, so I stopped. And then 2017, I got a new computer that I could edit. Oh, Bridget saw it as well. You can remember the video with lots of needles. Yes, I honestly think especially if you're just starting out, but I think it's not a bad idea to do it every so often as needles change and we all change. Because I do find every so often I get a different needle, and I stick with that for like a year or something till it breaks. So it's, when you're ordering something, order like a variety pack of needles and see what your favorite is every now and again. Oh, Alicia, thank you. You went and watched all my videos about felting when you found me. Learned so much. Oh, thank you. That's so cool. Yes, I do have to make more felting videos. Well, I am. However, at the minute, I have, kind of contractually, but I've been contractually obliged to make some more. I've been asked to make more for the creative, what's it called? I can't remember the name of the company. Creative Fabrica, and they had the great idea. They wanted me to make a little gnomes for Valentine's Day, so I've got to make the video for that. But I should be able to. I think I'm not, just so long as the videos for them are exclusive. I can make some little videos of my gnomes because they're blooming cute. I've never made a gnome before, so she said, do you want to do that? And I thought, let's see if I can make a gnome. So I've made some Valentine's Day gnomes, so I can make some videos on them, but just not the same ones, not all the techniques that I'm going to have in the tutorial. Diana, you change needles often, sometimes single, then to various holders. prevents my arthritic fingers cramping up too much. Absolutely. I used to, every Christmas time, I used to get some kind of repetitive strain in my wrist. Literally, so at this time of the year, if you saw me, if I was not felting on orders, which I was totally doing all the time, but my wrist would be in a wrist brace. I slept in a wrist brace. And then for some reason, I was doing a video and I'd ordered some stuff and I just ordered a needle holder to test it out to see what all the fuss was about. And just the difference of, rather than you can totally hold a needle and you can felt with a needle, but just holding that so narrow and you're probably holding quite tightly, moving on to a bigger tool, I found, touch wood, I haven't had an issue with the repetitive strainy my arms won't work type thing. Alicia, the makers have a mega mix, 11 different needles. That sounds so 80s. I hope that comes with some crazy graphics. The mega mix needles. Alicia, you need to make some stop motion videos using them. That's going to happen. That is definitely, they are just asking for stop motion. I am, in my head, I'm trying to figure out how I can do a stop motion of creating something. I'm gonna have to do it with a thing, but I'm just trying to figure out, because that would mean like I've got to find a way to get things to stay still. But I do have, I'll show you. I can't remember if I showed you this before. I was watching stop motion animators and they have these things. They have more fancy versions of these, but these are called helping hands. So you can, if something has to like fly through the air, you can move it a little bit, and then in post production you can remove the helping hands. I'm sorry, cat, but that just really helps with things. I haven't had time to edit it, but I did one of my dragons one of my dragons flying in and landing and then taking off again. So much fun. Just takes a long time to edit out the helping hands. But yes, I definitely I want to do a video where the gnomes make another gnome out of wool, but I just have to figure out if I can do that, because that's going to be so time consuming. But I think it would be fun. But yes, okay, so this is what, like, the end of the year, I've always got 100 ideas, like, this is what I'm going to do next year, this is all the things, and then next year happens and I haven't had time for it, and I'll be sitting at this time next year going, I really want to do a stop motion video. That's my helping hands falling over. I really want to do a stop motion video on this thing, and I really want to do Starry Nights, and I really want to do this. Bridget, helping hands look awesome. They really are. You get more fancy ones than that actually move a bit easier and stuff, but it's also, I think, what they're really designed for is like people who sort of solder computer parts and work on really tiny things. They are helping hands, obviously, but animators are using them as well to help their things. The magic of television. Do you know, I kind of like that. That's kind of cute. I love that all the colors in it, which the camera is refusing to pick up. I would spend another 3 hours on that, but I want to make a little one for a cat, and she could. Would that look terrible? Would be a bit too much to give her a collar in the yellow. We don't want to go too colourful here, but I'll make her a tiny heart for her tag on her collar. So that's way too big for tiny. So hearts aren't that difficult. Small ones, they're just kind of fiddly. I just sort of felt it into a puffy circle, and then I decide where the wool wants to go from there. So to me, it looks like that wants to be the top and this wants to be the bottom. So pinch out the bottom just between my thumb and ring finger. And at the same time, my index finger is just squishing down in the center where the heart's going to be. And then come in, felt a line straight backwards and forwards to this bit that I've pinched in, and you already have a heart. I'm just going to felt it a bit firmer, but that's all it takes. Hearts are super easy. And they add a really great, touch. Like I say, I've been doing the Valentine's Day gnomes, but you can just quickly add a heart to anything, and it's eye-catching pop of colour. Super easy. Right, guys, so what's everyone's plans for this week? This is like the last week before Christmas week, if that makes any kind of sense. So basically, I've got my entire house to clean. I've got super secret projects. Not super secret. I'm doing a thing for Etsy, which should be fun, doing that in the new year. So I've got some meetings on that. If I've got time, I want to film my gnomes, not the stop motion, that can come next year, and get the rest. I've got the last 2 dogs that I hope to post out before Christmas. These 2 need their photo shoot. As soon as I get off the air with you guys, these guys are getting their photo shoot. And yeah. Just winding down for the year. I kind of feel like I'm done with this. This year's finished now. So it's just gonna tidy up the house a little bit, hopefully, and just chill out. I might stick my head in some real world shops and see what's going on outside in the world. But yes, our cat has her tiny dog tags as well. Dog tags, yes. Our cat has dog tags. It's not a dog tag, it's a little tag. Oh, we didn't. Could we do that? Would that look silly? Didn't use everything. What do you think? Does that look silly, or does that look kind of cool if I did that? Let me know in the chat and I'll decide if I'm keeping it or not. Like covered with... I don't hate it. The reds match up pretty good. Let me know in the chat. Alicia, I'll probably be traveling to my mum's next Sunday, so there'll be no live. Depending on where I'm at with everything, I might live on Saturday, or I might leave it a little bit later. Won't be able to do Monday because I managed to get my booster jab. This is crazy. I live in the most populated bit of Scotland and I couldn't get my jab anywhere around here. But then I thought, well, I'm going to visit my mum. I'll check for the times I'm up with my mum and see if I can get my jab. So I can. Erica, will we see mum this year? I will try. She doesn't like it. Oh, Alicia liked the pipe cleaner and wondered how to attach it. Right, let's do that. So first thing, I think I just want to twist the ends a couple of times and don't know. Well, I'll leave the option to cut it off. And actually, it's quite reasonably attached as it is, but because the reds match up so well, I can just felt red over red. Just to give a little extra security. Especially if it's going to be an actual key ring. Yeah, you can barely see that, and then it looks like green stitches running through. That is very strange, but interesting. But yeah, so guys, there won't be a live next Sunday because I shall be driving. Um, but I'll try and convince mums to come on camera. She absolutely hates it, so it's a great thing to do. If you can't embarrass your parents. Trying to think what I could do to what what we could be doing to have her. Not sure. I'll think of something because she is super crafty. It would be cool to get her to show some crafts off. I might be trying to convince her to do something crafty because, like, she puts me to shame. I've got a room of wool and random photography props. She's got like a craft room with all sorts of things. Do you think, guys? Let me know. Do you think I should trim the tail or leave the tail? I am undecided. Need a little bit on the top here as well. That's kind of cool. It's like kind of organic looking now, like it's grown out of the heart. It's Christmassy and a little bit creepy. Did we use everything we got today? Well, kind of. Alicia's voting for trim the ends. I think so too. I'm trying to figure out how to trim them without going all bulky. Let's just go for it. I've got an idea. I have another cunning plan. Whoa. Okay, yeah, that's better. But my cunning plan, as these go so well together, is just to add a little bit more wool over. Oh, Alicia said maybe leave a little bit. And Lorna's yes, trim. Well, we've trimmed and just adding a little. That's nice. It's like a wee pop of colour. I'm happy with that. Trying not to cover the green, but cover the red. So we've kind of used everything. Still not used the beautiful alpaca from last week, but that literally wants to be a camel. So totally can do that. But I don't always like making things that seem so obvious. There we go. I could spend many more hours on that, but actually I kind of like that. That's not bad. Right, just a few more of your comments and then we'll be done. Diana, my tiny alpaca teddy, which sounds gorgeous, now has a sparkly blue bow, which is gorgeous, while watching you, and now has a red rainbow drops heart on his chest. I love how we all went for hearts with the rainbow drops. A Santa coat, yes. A Santa hat, I think it would be too much for a Santa hat. Just normal red for a Santa hat. But yes, your teddy sounds great. I do like the idea of building up all the things we've got. Do you know what? I'm kind of tempted with the idea. Well, I've used that. I am just seeing if I hadn't made his head quite so big, but I had to because the eyes were big. But you could do like long pipe cleaner legs and a skinny wee body to make it almost a Halloweeny type, Megan Mogg type cat. there, that's I don't know why, but that is somehow appealing to me. Little long body, and it's not the cat. I'm not going to do it because I do want to make him as a blue sparkle cat with maybe pink little paws. It's gorgeous, but there, I do fancy making using these as legs for something. I sort of oh yes, A Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, Jack Skellington vibe, but as him dressed up as a kind of Father Christmas. Not like I know he was in the film, but just running with it even more at that. So there's his legs and his body with the belt. That's actually. Are you guys seeing that? I'm seeing that. It's very festive and Tim Burton-y all at the same time. Hmm. Yes, with like little white axe. Okay, Pam, stop that. Right, we've got to go and make her. We've got. I have to go and make my tea. Um, Alicia, yeah. Diana, you've totally got to apply to win that gift card with your alpaca teddy. That sounds great. Right, guys. Right, I'm gonna leave you to it before I make my creepy Santa skeleton thingy. Right. No, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, that was great. I will keep an eye out. I will pop on live, but I probably won't give you much of warning. But yeah, have a great time. Have a great Christmas, and I'll hopefully see you at some point.